So I grew up in a time where there were all these wunderkinds popping up, and I use that term sarcastically because obviously we weren't brainiacs. We didn't have 800 IQs. The idea is that we were in school in a time where unfortunately the teachers were not, instruction was not as challenging for us, and so the teachers saying, I don't know what to do with this person. He's read every book in the library. Well, let's move on to the next grade. So in my schooling, I believe I had a wonderful fourth grade teacher, Ms. Gardner, who really said, like, he's a little bit smarter than everyone else. It was before differentiated instruction. It was before mixed ability grouping and high groups and low groups. So they said, well, let's bump him up to fifth grade. And so I got bumped up to fifth grade, leaving my peers, going to like, I don't know who these kids are. And then in that range, there was a magnet school, a magnet program opening, and they were pulling kids from neighborhood schools to go to this magnet program. And so they said, oh, you know what? We're going to send Stephen over to the magnet program. So they sent me over to the magnet program, and once again, I was supposed to be in fifth grade, but technically I was supposed to be in fourth. So I'm in this magnet program now, and I get over there and they say, you know what, I think we might have to move him up because I think he's still a little bit ahead of everybody else. So then they put me into the sixth grade. So I'm in the sixth grade, and it's okay. Now I'm I'm 2 years behind, younger than everyone else here. And so I sort of said, like, okay, and so I was in sixth grade for language arts, but I went to the seventh grade class for math, and they were like, okay, well, he's doing this and doing this. And then I think the next year, they said, well, we have to put him in, another grade because what grade are we going to put him in? So they ended up, we took at that point, the state assessment was the Iowa Test of Basic Skills. So I took the Iowa Test of Basic Skills. The two eighth graders who were pretty smart, and remember this was a magnet program, received like a 10.9 and a 10.8. I had a 10.3. So they said, well, we're not going to keep him here. He's already knocked him out. So they graduated me. So in 1 year, I went through, fifth, sixth, and seventh grade, and the next year I was in high school as a 12-year-old, and going into the ninth grade. So that's what my schooling was like. So and I went to Whitney Young, which was a prestigious magnet high school in Chicago, which touted a lot of, Michelle Obama graduated from there, et cetera, et cetera. And I graduated when I was 16 and went to Northwestern. So there's been this pattern of, I've never quite been where I was supposed to be, with peer groups, even when I college. So now I'm, 2 or 3 years younger than everybody else in college. But what it did give me was a jump start on my education career. So now I was teaching when I was 20. I actually was leaning towards the whole route to be an astronaut, and because I was really into math and science, I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I said, how long does it take before I get into space? That's too long. I'm ready. Never mind, I'm going to education. I've always had an artistic background, so I actually did a lot of stuff with cartooning and comic books and things like that. And so my art teacher was disappointed. She said, oh, you're not going to be an art teacher? You're not going to be a cartoonist? I was like, no, I'm going to be English, because English was the only thing that challenged me. They know Star Trek and Batman. Anyone's been in my office or seen my car. I was like, Mr. Bournes, I love the statement when kids come up and say, Mr. Bournes, you like Batman? And so I think what they might not know is that I think I actually have created, or at least over the past few years, because I really wanted to go into comic book writing and be a comic book artist, a whole universe of characters and stories that I was able to take and manifest and do my own play. I'm a fan of calendars, and I actually have a lot more, but I don't have enough nails. And every year it drives some people crazy because the calendars are not, and they say, oh, I'm looking at the wrong calendar. Why don't you have a new? I said, oh, I have a new calendar. I know where the new calendar is. But this is my fraternity calendar. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. This other calendar is one of my passions, Star Trek. And I love this picture because it's Black History Month, and it's this wonderful image of Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Hurd with Abraham Lincoln. Very, very intentional that let's put this on February, And then of course this other calendar obviously is a calendar of my family, which, as you can see, is from 2009. But it was a present we decided to do for a year, and for me, it's always brings back memories of, oh, that's right, this is what we did when we went to that family trip in Sedona, or we went to Disney World. And so it's a little bit, it tells you a little bit about my fraternity, my passions, and my family. This is my second year. I think I've pushed this year and last year how much I really want kids to be able to think critically. So we push that, and so that's why whenever I go into talk to teachers and coach teachers about the types of questions you're asking, did you push them and make them ask those higher order questions? Because I want kids to be able to think critically in math and science and social studies and language arts. I want them to be able to form an opinion and support it. And instead of just being thinkers, I want them to be leaders. And I always use this sort of triumvirate. I want them to be global thinkers, global leaders, and keep them in mind with how do I also know about the world in general, abroad, the world around me, or locally, my community, and my school, and then how do I assume a leadership position? We're really just getting started, and I know that it's overwhelming for everybody. It's overwhelming for our students, it's overwhelming for our teachers, and some days it's overwhelming even for me. But it's a great work that we're doing. That statement that Frederick Douglass made about if there's no struggle, there's no progress, we're doing a lot of struggling right now. But hopefully that progress is right around the corner.